welcome to a brand new series of vlogs in which I'm going to be talking about BSL, or British Sign Language. Now if you don't know, British Sign Language is what you see in the corner of the screen if you turn on BBC Two at sort of 3 o'clock in the morning and happen to be tuning into the Sign Zone. Or perhaps you've seen one of those political statements that go on, say the ones like Nicola Sturgeon does up in Bonnie, Scotland, where she'll have somebody to her right who is gurning or pulling funny faces, or they're not having a fit, they are actually doing BSL, doing British Sign Language, and they are communicating with the deaf community and giving them what Nicola, or whoever the political person is, saying, so that they can keep up with what's going on, basically. It can be their number one form of communication. I have decided to take a course in BSL, even though I am actually not profoundly deaf. I'm not hard of hearing. I don't have anybody in my family either who has a profound deafness. There are issues which I will talk about in future videos, but certainly nothing that would mean that any of us would need to use BSL on a daily basis. It's a bit strange maybe that I've decided to put myself through a full year's course to learn it. Why on earth would I do that? Yeah, we will return to that subject later on in these vlogs. So let's talk a little bit about how the course is structured. It is structured in the way of a full academic year. So I'm starting it in mid-September and it goes right through till June next year, with breaks for Christmas, for Easter and for half term. So in these videos, I'm not going to be teaching you BSL, but I will be demonstrating some of the things that we are learning. The idea of these vlogs is to take you through the process as I'm going through it, so that if perhaps you're a bit like me, somebody who hasn't been in education for a little while, you want to do a course and you're a bit unsure about it, well, we can kind of go through that together, because it is difficult when you get a little bit older. You get out of the habit of learning, you get out of the habit of doing regular things. Now, as we'll talk about in future videos, I've done various things through the years that I think have kept my brain ticking over, and it helps, I think, to do things that are slightly out of your comfort zone, that you wouldn't normally do, that perhaps are not necessarily connected with the work that you do or the life that you lead. And BSL for me is one of those things. The big worry for me, I think, is that because I'm out of the practice maybe of doing a lot of education, is going to be remembering things. This is a long course with a lot of content, so remembering it, I think, is one of my big worries. I have other concerns as well, and I will talk about those and cover those in future vlogs. Anyway, enough of this. Let's get ready. I'm going to go in to my first lesson, and then I will tell you all about it on the other side. Well, hello. I have just finished my very first BSL course. Now, as you can see, I've got, because I'm filming this in September 2020, and we are in the realms of the pandemic. So if you're watching this at some point in the future, hopefully that is a dim and distant memory. But, you know, at the precise moment in time, it all had to be socially distanced. And I have this. It's a clear face mask, so you can see my mouth. It's slightly disappearing there, slightly fogging up, so I'm just going to try and remove it. Right, I've got the face mask off. That was a bit of a chore. There it is. So it's a clear face mask, and the idea of these clear face masks is so that people who are deaf or hard of hearing and are using lip reading can actually see your mouth. It's a really good idea. You can get these on Etsy. And I think it's a terrific idea, because the problem is, and this is one of the things that we covered in the very first lesson, is that there are, if you're deaf or hard of hearing, if you're using BSL or even lip reading as your form of communication in order to see what somebody is saying to you, then it's not just the signing that's important, it's the body language, it's the expression, and of course your mouth forms an important part of that. and especially if somebody's using lip reading, at least partly, to see what you're doing. So these clear face marks are a terrific idea, and I shall be using this a lot more. Anyway, the first lesson was really good. Our teacher's called Steffi. She's very good, very knowledgeable. She's profoundly deaf herself. A fantastic teacher, obviously knows her stuff, and has a fantastic way of bringing it across. She's very amusing, but also imparts an awful lot of information. A lot to take in, but some really helpful things, like, for example, to do with the grammar of BSL. It's sort of back to front in a way. So not like the cat climbs the tree, but you'd say tree, cat climbs, because you're effectively talking about what's happening, and then, you know, kind of how it's built from there. And I'm explaining that very, very badly. So yes, we talked about that. We talked about the facial expressions and the body language. We covered a lot of, we did the alphabet, which is something that I knew already, but I do need to practice that and get a lot faster with it. We did quite a lot of words of different objects, and a few things that are fairly obvious. You can almost guess those signs, but again, it's remembering them. And this is going to be a great problem, I think. A big challenge, and that's really where practice comes in. So anyway, it's enough waffling, because you're just looking at me, looking at you, and that's going to be very dull. So I hope you're going to join me on this journey as I learn BSL over the coming weeks. I'll tell you a little bit about what we've been learning. I'm going to cover more about that in the future vlogs. It's very difficult when I'm holding the camera, sitting in the car afterwards, to actually demonstrate anything. And please let me know what you think. Any questions that you may have about this and about the whole process, please do post them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you for my next BSL vlog, which will cover lesson 2 next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.